Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you for coming this evening to listen to my number 10 speech. I am going to start off this speech tonight with a short video to introduce the concept of redefining the word possible. It's a video that was used in a campaign that I borrowed the title of my speech from, Redefining Possible. But before I do that, I want you to think about something that you have always wanted to do, but you've never done it because you didn't think you had it in you to do. Perhaps you think you don't have the ability. Maybe you think you lack the skills or have no way of raising the funds needed. Self-doubt starts to creep in. Or maybe you simply think that it's just not possible. Have you got something in mind? I hope so, because I want you to get ready to rethink the possibility of fulfilling that dream, that desire, or that goal. I want you to get ready to redefine possible.
That I wouldn't be a functioning member of society. That the odds would always be against me. But I refused to listen then, and I refuse to listen now. Join me on the greatest challenge I've ever faced as I climb 20,000 steps to the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro
and raise $750,000 for clean water programs in East Africa.
There is no can't or won't, only how to make the impossible possible.
Spencer West, ladies and gentlemen. The man has no body from the torso down, and yet he did a 7-day, 19,000-foot climb of Mount Kilimanjaro. Who beforehand would have thought that that was possible? Certainly when he was a child, his doctor told him that he wouldn't even be a functioning member of society, let alone achieve something of that magnitude. What I think Spencer West did, and what I think we all need to do, is redefine what we believe is possible. The dictionary definition of possible is able to be done or achieved. Therefore, we need to rethink what we perceive we are able to do or achieve. And I have thought about this and come up with 3 steps that I think will help me and hopefully will help you to do this. The first is actually believing that something is possible. The second is understanding that we all have it in us to do it, that we have the potential. And the third is overcoming doubts and fears. So firstly, believing something is actually possible. Now, who here has heard of Roger Bannister? Okay, 2. Great, well you can back me up then. Roger Bannister is an English former athlete who is now 84 years old. At the height of his athletics career, it was believed that no human could run a mile in less than 4 minutes. When Bannister failed to meet medal expectations at the 1952 Helsinki Olympics, he decided that he was going to be the man to prove to the world that the sub 4-minute mile was indeed possible. He used his failure at the Olympics to rise up and pursue a different goal instead of letting him give up. And he actually did that 2 years later at an athletics meet in Oxford. And what happened after that was quite amazing, because there was this domino effect of other athletes who started to run faster and all started to run 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. Because they realized that it was actually possible. It was a mindset. And in fact, now, the record, I believe, for running a mile is 3 minutes and 43 seconds, which is 17 whole seconds faster than what they believed was possible in the early 50s. which reminds me of something that the late Nelson Mandela said, and he said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." So that brings me to my second point, and that is to realize our full potential, because everybody has potential. And the dictionary definition of potential is latent qualities or abilities that may be developed and lead to future success or usefulness. Take an acorn, for example. If you didn't know any better, would you imagine that a seed this small could grow into a big, mighty, strong oak tree? Well, I think that we all have similar potential in us. We have gifts and talents that I believe we are to use to serve society, to serve the world. I think what we need to do is we need to examine what gifts and talents we have, how we can use them, and nurture them, and just be confident. Believe in ourselves and our capabilities. The third thing that I want to talk to you about is overcoming doubts and fears. Now, I understand that doubts and fears do have their place. They do serve a purpose. And because of that, I think what we need to do is look at them closely and ask ourselves honestly if a fear of ours is based on something real, or if it's just a self-limiting belief or gremlin. Now, a self-limiting belief, if you haven't heard of that term, is an assumption, perspective, or conviction that is holding an individual back from reaching his or her potential. And I think if we have things in our lives that we really want to do, but that we've never done because we believe we can't do them, then there's at least one, if not many, self-limiting beliefs lurking in our subconsciousness. One way to get around that, I think, or that I have found, is to surround yourself with people who believe in you and who are able and willing to point out these self-limiting beliefs when they rear their ugly heads, and to squash them and to encourage you. And from that place of strength and experience, I think we can then also encourage others. Adidas, you may have seen in an ad campaign 10 or 15 years ago, used a definition of impossible that I think, well, you can tell me whether you agree with it or not. I believe that it either came, the source is unclear, but it either came from the famed boxer Muhammad Ali or leadership guru John Maxwell. But in any case, I think it's a really powerful definition. And it goes like this. Impossible is a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world that they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential, impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to go away this evening and maybe redefine what you believe is actually possible. Understand your full potential. Overcome unnecessary doubts and fears, and redefine possible for you. Thank you very much.